On May 30th, 1913, the Treaty of London brought an end to the First Balkan War, a conflict that had lasted for almost 8 months. It was a pivotal war that significantly weakened the Ottoman Empire's centuries-long control over southeastern Europe. The victorious Balkan League, composed of Bulgaria, Serbia, Greece, and Montenegro, had succeeded in pushing the Ottomans out of nearly all their European territories, except for a small strip around Constantinople. Cities of immense strategic and symbolic importance, such as Adrianople, had fallen to the winners. Albania emerged as a newly independent state. However, despite this significant achievement, the peace that followed was fragile, and the alliances forged in war began to unravel almost immediately. The Second Balkan War erupted just a month later, driven by bitter disputes over the spoils of the First Balkan War, especially over the division of Macedonia. Bulgaria, the most ambitious of the Balkan League members, felt cheated by its allies. A new conflict was now on the horizon, one that would pit former comrades in arms against each other and change the political landscape of the Balkans once again. The First Balkan War had fundamentally altered the balance of power in the Balkans. Bulgaria, which had made the largest contribution in terms of manpower and resources to the war effort, believed it deserved the lion's share of the newly liberated territories, particularly Macedonia. Before the war, a secret agreement signed on March 13, 1912, between Serbia and Bulgaria had outlined how they would divide Macedonia. According to the agreement, northern Macedonia would go to Serbia, while Bulgaria would receive southern Macedonia, including the key port city of Thessaloniki. However, as the war unfolded, reality deviated from the plan. The Serbian army advanced far beyond the agreed border, occupying territory in northern Macedonia that Bulgaria claimed as its own. Meanwhile, in southern Macedonia, Greek forces had swiftly advanced north and taken control of Thessaloniki, one of the most strategically vital cities in the region. Bulgaria's efforts to capture the city had been frustrated by the speed of the Greek advance. Bulgaria called on Serbia to honor the pre-war agreement, but Serbia, emboldened by its battlefield successes, refused. Adding to the tensions, the great powers, particularly Austria-Hungary, insisted that Serbia withdraw from northern Albania, which they had occupied during the war. The creation of an independent Albania under the Treaty of London was a bitter pill for Serbia, as it dashed the country's hopes of gaining an outlet to the Adriatic Sea. This only increased Serbia's determination to hold on to its gains in Macedonia. Seeing Bulgaria as a potential threat, Serbia began negotiating a defensive alliance with Greece. Both nations were concerned about Bulgaria's territorial ambitions, which now seemed to extend well beyond the provisions of the 1878 Treaty of San Stefano, a treaty that Bulgaria viewed as a blueprint for its national aspirations. This agreement had envisioned a greater Bulgaria that included all of Macedonia and Thrace. Though much of the treaty had been overturned by the Congress of Berlin the same year, Bulgaria's nationalist ambitions persisted. Bulgaria's ruler, Tsar Ferdinand I, shared these grand ambitions. He dreamed of creating a powerful Bulgarian state, one that could rival the great powers of Europe. In 1912, Ferdinand had joined the Balkan League's assault on the Ottoman Empire, with these lofty goals in mind. He viewed the war as a crusade, a struggle of the Christian cross against the Islamic crescent. Though the League had won the war, Bulgaria's territorial gains fell far short of Ferdinand's expectations. By mid-June 1913, Bulgaria had become aware of the secret defensive alliance between Serbia and Greece. As skirmishes between Bulgarian and Serbian forces continued to flare up in Macedonia, the stage was set for a new war. Tensions reached a boiling point when, on June 27th, Montenegro announced that it would side with Serbia in any future conflict with Bulgaria. Romania, which had remained neutral during the First Balkan War, also warned Bulgaria that it would not stand by if another war broke out. Despite efforts by Russia, the sponsor of the Balkan League, to mediate the escalating crisis, it became clear that a new conflict was inevitable. Bulgaria had already decided to go to war. On the night of June 29th, Tsar Ferdinand, without notifying his government, ordered the Bulgarian army to launch a surprise attack on Serbian and Greek positions, effectively igniting the Second Balkan War. At the outset of the war, Bulgaria had significant military strength, on paper. In the First Balkan War, it had mobilized an impressive 600,000 men. However, after the war, the Bulgarian army was reorganized into 9 divisions, each with a strength closer to that of an army corps than a traditional division. Tactical adjustments during the First Balkan War had led to the formation of a 10th Division and several independent brigades composed of new recruits. Despite the reorganization, Bulgaria's military strategy for the Second Balkan War was overambitious. The main Bulgarian assault was planned against Serbia, with Bulgaria's 1st, 3rd, 4th, and 5th armies tasked with attacking Serbian positions. Meanwhile, the 2nd Army, under the command of General Ivanov, would strike Greek positions around Thessaloniki. Bulgaria hoped to quickly overwhelm their adversaries before they could properly organize a defense. The initial attack, on the night of June 29th, caught both the Serbian and Greek forces by surprise. However, the Bulgarian offensive soon ran into significant problems. Only the 4th and 2nd armies were ordered to advance at first, which allowed the Serbs to concentrate their forces and blunt the Bulgarian attack. In the crucial opening days of the war, the 1st and 3rd Bulgarian armies remained inactive, costing Bulgaria valuable momentum. The Battle of Bregalnica, fought from July 1st to July 3rd, was the first major clash between the Bulgarians and Serbs. The Bulgarian 4th Army, commanded by General Stilian Kovachev, attempted to push deep into Serbian-held Macedonia. Initially, they achieved some limited success, advancing against Serbian positions along the Zlatovska River. However, their advance soon faltered. The Serbs, under the brilliant leadership of General Radomir Putnik, rallied their forces and launched a fierce counteroffensive. The Bulgarian 4th Army, commanded by General Stilian Kovachev, attempted to push deep into Serbian-held Macedonia. Initially, they achieved some limited success, advancing against Serbian positions along the Zlatovska River. However, their advance soon faltered. The Serbs, under the brilliant leadership of General Radomir Putnik, rallied their forces and launched a fierce counteroffensive. In a series of hard-fought engagements, the Serbs not only halted the Bulgarian advance, but also managed to encircle and capture the entire 7th Division of the Bulgarian Army. The Bulgarian 4th Army, which had been tasked with spearheading the offensive against Serbia, was forced into a defensive position around Kratovo. With heavy losses and a depleted fighting force, Kovachev's army dug in, hoping to hold off the Serbian onslaught. By July 3rd, the momentum of the Bulgarian attack had been decisively checked, and the focus of the war shifted to defensive operations. While the Bulgarians struggled against the Serbs in the north, they faced even greater challenges in the south against Greece. General Ivanov's 2nd Army, positioned near Thessaloniki, was ordered to launch an attack on Greek positions along the Axios River. However, the Greeks, under the leadership of Crown Prince Constantine, were well prepared for the Bulgarian offensive. The first major engagement between the Greek and Bulgarian forces occurred at Kilkis, from June 30th to July 4th. The Battle of Kilkis, one of the most important battles of the war, saw the Greek army decisively defeat Ivanov's forces. Despite being outnumbered and facing better equipped Bulgarian troops, the Greeks launched a massive counterattack supported by heavy artillery fire. The Bulgarians, taken by surprise by the ferocity of the Greek assault, were forced to abandon their positions and retreat toward the Struma River. The fall of Kilkis was a critical blow to the Bulgarian war effort in the south. With their defenses collapsing, the Bulgarian forces retreated further north, pursued by the advancing Greek army. By July 5th, the Greeks had captured the important town of Doiran, further weakening Bulgaria's position in southern Macedonia. Though they had hoped to cut off the Bulgarian retreat, the Greeks were unable to do so, allowing much of Ivanov's battered army to escape. The Greek victory at Kilkis allowed Crown Prince Constantine to push deeper into Bulgarian territory. The Greek army advanced towards Ceres in the Strymon Valley. By July 11th, the Greeks linked up with Serbian forces near the town of Strumica, creating a united front against the Bulgarians. While Bulgaria was reeling from defeats on the Serbian and Greek fronts, a new threat emerged from the north. On July 10th, Romania, which had remained neutral during the First Balkan War, declared war on Bulgaria. The Romanian army, numbering 200,000 men, launched an unopposed invasion of southern Dobruja, a fertile region that Romania had long coveted. The Bulgarians, already stretched thin on the Serbian and Greek fronts, were in no position to resist the Romanian advance. Romanian forces swiftly captured Silistra and pushed toward the Danube River, advancing deep into Bulgarian territory. By July 20th, the Romanian army had reached the outskirts of Varna, Bulgaria's major Black Sea port. In a symbolic gesture, Romanian aircraft flew over Sofia, dropping propaganda leaflets calling for Bulgaria's surrender. Sofia became the first capital city in history to be overflown by enemy aircraft, a clear sign of how desperate Bulgaria's situation had become. As Bulgaria's enemies closed in from all sides, the Ottoman Empire seized the opportunity to regain some of the territories it had lost in the First Balkan War. On July 22nd, Ottoman forces crossed the Maritsa River and advanced into eastern Thrace. With Bulgaria's attention focused on its war with Serbia, Greece, and Romania, the Ottomans encountered little resistance. The Ottoman army quickly recaptured Adrianople, restoring the city to Ottoman control without a fight. Ottoman troops also moved to secure the Gallipoli Peninsula and other strategic positions in Thrace. The loss of Adrianople was a major setback for Bulgaria, both strategically and symbolically. By late July 1913, Bulgaria was on the verge of collapse. Encircled by enemies on all sides, and facing the prospect of losing even more territory, Tsar Ferdinand had little choice but to sue for peace. On August 10, 1913, the Treaty of Bucharest was signed, bringing an official end to the Second Balkan War. The terms of the treaty were harsh for Bulgaria. Macedonia was partitioned between Serbia, Greece, and Romania, with Bulgaria receiving only a small portion of the contested territory. Bulgaria was forced to cede southern Dobruja to Romania and relinquish its claims to Adrianople and eastern Thrace, which were returned to the Ottoman Empire. The Second Balkan War marked the end of Bulgaria's aspirations to dominate the Balkans. It had been a costly and humiliating conflict for the country, one that left it diplomatically isolated and economically weakened. Though Bulgaria had initially sought to build a new empire in the region, its overreach and miscalculation had backfired spectacularly. For the other Balkan states, the war was a mixed success. Serbia, which had nearly doubled in size, emerged as the most powerful state in the region. However, its rapid expansion fueled tensions with Austria-Hungary, which viewed Serbia's growing power with alarm. The strained relationship between Austria-Hungary and Serbia would soon lead to the assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand and the outbreak of the First World War. The Second Balkan War also demonstrated the fragility of alliances in the region. The Balkan League, which had united against the Ottomans in 1912, had quickly disintegrated into conflict as soon as the common enemy was defeated. The shifting alliances and territorial disputes of the Second Balkan War foreshadowed the instability that would continue to plague the Balkans throughout the 20th century. In the broader context of European history, the Second Balkan War was a critical event that helped set the stage for the Great War. The tensions that erupted in the Balkans in 1913 would soon engulf the entire continent, dragging the major powers of Europe into one of the most devastating conflicts in human history. For Bulgaria, the Second Balkan War was a bitter chapter in its history, but it was far from the end. In 1915, Bulgaria would join the Central Powers in the First World War, seeking revenge against Serbia and hoping to regain the territories it had lost. But that is a story for another time. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon to get notified when we release more history content.